Hey there! Given the ongoing situation with COVID, it's perhaps come as no surprise to me and perhaps yourself that some of the residential units that have been housing your loved ones for eating disorder support are now asking for those people to be looked after at home. And I have been hearing from several parents who've said, are there any approaches, tactics, strategies that might better help them support their loved one at home? In particular, where that discharge is perhaps more premature than the family was ready for or was expecting. One of the big issues that comes up a lot is, should I allow my child to be in charge of the kitchen and the cooking? Because it's one thing that somebody with an eating disorder, or even in the beginnings of eating disorder recovery, might insist that they really want to be in charge of the kitchen. They want to dominate the cooking opportunity. I've heard all sorts of stories. I spoke to a mother a couple of weeks ago and she was saying that she has to take herself off to the bedroom and take all the other siblings out of the kitchen between the hours of 4:30 and 7 p.m. every evening in the family household. That's really tough, but I do know that for some people with eating disorders and in those early stages of recovery, the eating disorder will do everything possible to try and take charge of that kitchen space and to try and manipulate the way food is managed again. So I guess what I would say is, it's difficult. I hated it when I first came out of residential, hated someone else being in charge of cooking and serving my food, but continuity of that is really useful, particularly in the early stages, until that person, I'm going to say, can be trusted, but until you've both got confidence that it's the safe thing to do for that person to be able to manage their own food and cooking and serving. So at least initially, you might want to say, no, actually, I'm going to continue to take responsibility in the kitchen. And then moderate basis, step it forward day by day, week by week, review what that looks like and start to introduce that loved one back into the process of cooking, preparing food with you and for themselves. Because actually exposure to the food, exposure to the practice of cooking is vitally important. So don't withdraw it all together, but just make sure you maintain some sense of responsibility and normalcy around kitchen and cooking behaviours within the household, particularly if you've got other siblings within the family. So certainly the Maudsley model tends to sort of heighten the approach around parental responsibility, but I'm not one that thinks you should cut the loved one out altogether and insist that it's just, another 6 months of you serving up food as if they were still in hospital. I don't think that's helpful. I do think you have to make food and cooking and the practice of food preparation together something that can be looked forward to, can be enjoyable, and can be something that forms part of the daily routine of family life. If you want to talk about that in any more, I know that, several of you are in that situation all of a sudden where you weren't expecting to be. So please do drop us a line. Email as ever is hello@wednesdaychild.co.uk. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.